see if we up. Well, live from the Al Lawson Center in Tallahassee, Florida, on the campus of Florida A&M University, it's time for the final games of the regular season of Bethune-Cookman University basketball here on the CatEye Network. Hello and a very warm welcome. Happy to have your company. My name is Michael Turillo. Henson White joins me as always. Henson, we have traveled into enemy territory, and for the women's basketball team, the goal is simple: win and in.
Yeah, we're deep here in Tallahassee, Florida. It was a rainy drive up I-10, and we safely made it, and now we're waiting for the Wildcats to really – we didn't want it to come to this. We talked about it throughout the season, especially towards the tail end. We didn't want to have to come into Tallahassee and need a win to get into the SWAC tournament. But as results have occurred throughout the season, and as Alcorn had a solid end to their season, as well as FAMU, who started out SWAC play not doing so hot, it's a lot of struggle for them at this point. And now we have a situation where both the Wildcats and the Rattlers are in a win and you're in situation. Now, technically, if you want to talk about all the extras and extracurriculars, you have Alcorn State, who's also playing. And if Alcorn wins, you know now all of a sudden if Alcorn wins, whichever team wins here is in, the loser is out.
Yeah.
If Alcorn loses, there's point differential and tiebreakers and all types of fancy stuff that we're not going to get into because it'll take us 15 minutes to explain it all. But essentially, as simple as we can put it, if the Wildcats win, they're going to the SWAC tournament in Birmingham. If the Rattlers win, they are.
Yep. It is now time to take a look at our Southeast Toyota dealers' keys to the game for the final time of the regular season. Henson, what do you got for us?
So the last keys to the game for FAMU, it is going to be get Grizzle hot. If Grizzle gets hot, that's going to be their, she's their talisman. She has been the main reason they've been able to win all these games towards the tail of the season. She's been playing out of her mind, one of the leading scorers in the SWAC. If they qualify tonight, has a genuine, very good argument for SWAC player of the season. Just overall an amazing player. And if the Wildcats can control her defensively, they will have a good chance to win this game. And the keys to the game for the Wildcats will be get turnovers. We've had shooting issues. We don't, we know at this point we don't shoot crazy well. We're not a high percentage team. So just getting more opportunities and more looks than the Rattlers will be very key against this team.
This is a Wildcats team that forces the second best turnover margin in the SWAC. They force 16.3 turnovers per game and only turn the ball over. They turn the ball over 16 times per game. They force 20.5 turnovers per game. That is the second fewest turnovers allowed and second most turnovers forced. So again, Janelle Creighton-led teams play defense really well, turn the ball over, get extra looks at the basket, but it's been finishing, especially in the paint, that's been the Wildcats' bug this season.
Yeah, when they have had the finishing there to really, and they've got it consistent, they win those games. When they can finish well and they're shooting high percentage, they win. But when we're, looking at them shooting around a 20-30% mark, it's very hard to win those basketball games. Their defense does an excellent job keeping them in those games, but away in this very key and critical game, you don't want to have to deal with all that. You already have the crowd that's obviously going to be against you here. You're going to have to lock in tonight.
We will take a couple of minute break. When we come back, it's the starting lineups and basketball time from the Al Lawson Center in Tallahassee. This has been your Southeast Toyota Dealers pregame show. You're listening to Bethune-Cookman University basketball on CatEye Network Radio from Bethune-Cookman University. Welcome back to the Al Lawson Center. We just had a lovely rendition of the national anthem performed by a freshman here at Florida A&M. The starting lineups are being introduced now. We've already had our Southeast Toyota Dealers keys to the game, Henson, but for Florida A&M, you mentioned Grizzle. What else has to go right for FAMU to come out on top today?
Well, for FAM, they have to play good defense. You know this team isn't gonna do anything crazy from three, or at least they haven't shown that throughout the season. So you're gonna have to have good paint defense, good interior defense. Try to get Chanel McDonald in foul trouble, because if you get McDonald in foul trouble, this team struggles offensively. Kayla Clark has had trouble when she's confronted defensively hard in the interior, especially when she becomes the focal point of the offense and other players aren't getting the ball as much.
There's an interesting statistical matchup, right? Florida A&M is second in the SWAC in three-point percentage at 29.6%, but Bethune-Cookman is first in the SWAC in three-point percentage defense. They only allow opponents to shoot 25% from beyond the arc. And, if the Wildcats continue to shore up and force the Rattlers to go inside, they do have the height advantage for one of the few times in this game, right? The only real height threat is Ariana Grizzle. She's 5'9", Sydney Hendricks 5'11". When you've got the 6'2", 6'3" Chanel McDonald and Kayla Clark, could be a matchup the Wildcats leverage.
Yeah, they're going to definitely look to do what they did in that first game, which was attack those shorter players, take advantage of this height advantage that is rare for the Wildcats to have in this SWAC conference. But if the Rattlers are smart, they're going to definitely try to get those players into foul trouble early, try to drive at Kayla Clark, McDonald, try to get them off the court in this first quarter or second quarter, just so they can get more easily accessible offensive opportunities.
Last year, back at Moore Gymnasium in Daytona Beach, the Wildcats beat the Rattlers in the last game of the season to punch their ticket to the SWAC tournament. They're going to have to do it again today on enemy territory here in Tallahassee. Starting lineups are introduced and the players are on the floor. A sparse crowd here at the Al Lawson Center for this first game of our doubleheader. The Wildcats in the road black, a maroon stripe down the sides and on the pants with gold trim, maroon numbers with gold trim. Bethune-Cookman in gold on the front of the jersey, Bethune above the numbers, Cookman below. Florida A&M in the all-white home strip, orange Rattler fang stripe down the side, trimmed in green, orange numbers with the Rattler skin paint design in the numbers as well. Wildcats go right to left, Rattlers go left to right. It'll be Jalea Sharp and Chanel McDonald to jump in center court. Sharp wins the tip. Wildcats have the ball. Here's Nishanti Gilbert underneath the basket, puts it up, too strong. Battle for the rebound, comes all the way out to the top of the arc. It's out of bounds. And the Rattlers will keep it. They'll inbound to listeners right, attacking the basket that way at the end of the scores table where we are located. Inbounding is Subirats. That's Yvette Subirats. Her sister Aina is also on this team. Dribble drive, top of the key. Here's Nia Bostic. She puts it up and in. And that correction, that's Olivia Delancey. And it's 2-0 Rattlers.
Immediately off to a fast start.
And the Rattlers take it away on a full court press, and it's a layup by Ariana Grizzle. She leads the SWAC in scoring 18.3 points per game. And the scouting report, right, if you pressure this Wildcats team, they struggle.
Yeah, they've had struggle against that full court press all season. And the Rattlers have immediately pushed it up, but the Wildcats broke it this
Wildcats
time.
into the front court, controlled out high. Here is Cariana Woods. She drives left to the circle, almost gets stripped to the ball, puts it down low to Clark. She goes up, gets her shot blocked from behind, gets her own rebound, and is fouled on a second chance putback attempt. That's the first foul on Yvette Subirats. And we mentioned in the pregame, Henson, they're going to look to pound that ball down low.
Yeah, they do that. They've done that, as we said, all season. That's what this team is. They love getting down low, getting in that post, and getting those shots up. Kayla Clark gets fouled here. They also love getting fouled. I wish we had a stat tracked here in the SWAC for most fouls against or for, because the Wildcats would definitely be in the top of that list.
Kayla Clark at the line. Her first free throw is back iron it in. In the season, Clark averaging 9.8 points per game, and she is 50.6% from the foul line. Second one is up and good, and it is 4-2. Rattlers 9:04 to go in the opening quarter. Rattlers control across the timeline left to right. Here's Grizzle. She works on Kayla White, defends her out to the left wing. Gets a screen, twirls it, pulls up from 15 feet, misses it short. Nice box out for the rebound by White, and Bethune-Cookman controls.
Yeah, but slower possession there. The game slowed down a little bit from that first opening minute flurry of scoring.
Clark between the circles, hands back to White, heels on the Rattler logo at midcourt. She goes to her right, around the screen, gets to the hole, gets fouled. Her shot is short, but she will go to the line.
And that's already 2 early fouls against the Rattlers. The last thing they want to do is get into foul trouble super early. We're not even a full 2 minutes into this game.
And that'll be Kayla White to go to the free throw line, the junior from Cleveland, Ohio, averaging 8.1 points. There's not a player on this team that really averages double figures, but a lot of them are around 8, 9, 7 points. It's scoring by committee for this Bethune-Cookman team, who still average 66.4 points per game, good for 4th in the SWAC, even though the points have not been flowing as of late. The first penalty shot from White was up and good. The second one is front iron, back iron, and in, and it is 4-4, 8:36 to go first quarter. Here's Grizzle, left hand drive across the top of the circle. She gets it back from Subirats, guarded by White, works her way to the right-hand corner. Dumps it inside towards Subirats, kick to the corner, 3 on the way from the right-hand wing, good. And Shawnee Gilbert is off the mark, and it is 7-4 Rattlers, 8:13 to go first quarter.
Shawnee Gilbert wearing the James Harden mask special.
This is a team in Florida that loves to shoot the 3. Shoot it second best percent in the conference. Top of the arc. Clark drives, looking for the roll up and in. Excuse me, that's Kayla White. And it is good. 7-6 Rattlers, 7:53 to go. Long pass into the front court. Nobody was ready for the quick transition offense. And the Shawnee Gilbert lays it in again. And a quick timeout from a unhappy Janelle Creighton.
Extremely quick possession there for the Rattlers. Taking advantage of Kayla White's tough layup that she made and using the Wildcats defense against them. They didn't come back fast enough and was already on a cut and drive there. Easy layup to the left of the basket. Once again, she has that mask on. Very, as I said earlier, James Harden-esque kind of face covering. It's obviously not harming her play at all.
Yeah. Southeast Toyota Dealers is a proud supporter of Bethune-Cookman basketball. Visit your local Toyota dealer or explore Toyota.com today and take advantage of the deals on our full line of vehicles. The 2024 Starry SWAC Men's and Women's Basketball Tournament presented by Buick returns to the Magic City of Birmingham, Alabama, Wednesday, March 13th through Saturday, March 16th, as the league's top 8 teams on both sides look to bring home championship titles with 2 NCAA tournament berths on the line. This year's tournament is scheduled to be held in downtown Birmingham at Bartow Arena, with all 14 men's and women's tournament games broadcast live on ESPN. For more information on the 2024 Starry SWAC Men's and Women's Basketball Tournaments presented by Buick, visit www.swac.org. 7:46 to go in the first quarter. An early flurry of scoring for the Rattlers has them with a 9-6 lead over the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. We mentioned the SWAC tournament. That's where this women's team is trying to get to a win, and they will be there as either the 8, 6, or 7 seed, depending on how all that shakes out. But I don't think it matters to this team. They just want to win.
Yeah, there's no point of conversating about the seeding when you're trying to get into the tournament itself. And already the difference has been that 3-point shooting. The Wildcats have made a lot of made their points they've shot. Has a great field goal percentage to start it out.
7:46 to go. Long pass ahead of the full court press. White makes the grab. She goes, Euro steps through the lane and floats it in. Kayla White, another tough finish. 9-8 Rattlers with the lead. Now they'll slow it down with 7:37 to go in the first quarter. Grizzle controls out high, puts her hand in the air to call the play, gets a screen, goes left, immediately trapped along the baseline. She backs up, throws it to Gilbert. Gilbert drives, skip pass into the lane, and it's a layup from Jalea Sharp. You double team out high, you leave the post wide open.
Yeah, you got to do that fast if you're going to do it. You got to trap because you leave that offensive player open.
11-8 as the scoreboard is frozen here. So it still says 9-8, but the score is 11-8. 7:03 to go. Out high, left corner, Chanel Wilson. Pull up 3, too strong. Rebound at A&M. This is the Shawnee Gilbert. With that mask on, drives right to the lane, hands the Grizzle. She gets inside to the free throw line, stopped by White. Goes to the left-hand wing, now drives back inside after a spin move. Hook shot is good. First points of the game for Ariana Grizzle. She averages 18.3 per contest. That's best in the SWAC. And it is 13-8 Rattlers, 6:31 to go in the first quarter. I'm having to keep the score in my head again because the scoreboard is frozen here at the Al Lawson Center. Up on top, Kayla White, right-hand wing for Damani Dorsey, who's just checked into the game. She goes to her right, to the baseline, passes it off, and then the ball is ripped away from Kerrigan Dunn, and a turnover all the way under the basket. Subirats is fouled, and she'll go to the line. And the Wildcats about to make 2 subs. I see Kayla Clark getting ready to come back in. 13-8, 6:09 to go first quarter. And Yvette Subirats from Barcelona, and a transfer from Ball State. She's a senior this year. And she will go to the line after being fouled by Kayla White. Bends her knees, pushes the first shot up, and good. 14-8. And a really hot start. We don't have live stats right now, so we don't know shooting percentages or anything, but I would guess very high shooting percentage for Florida A&M. Second shot, no good. 14-8, 6:09 to go first quarter. Wildcats in need of some offense. Here's Dorsey out high, moves to her left across the Rattler logo at midcourt. Tucker's just checked in. She gets it between the circles. Right side to DeShante Edwards. She's guarded by Olivia Delancey, and she backs all the way up. 10 to shoot now, 9 in the corner. Goes down low to Clark, who's just checked back in. Backs up and travels with the ball.
At first they were looking for a foul call there. Doesn't get it because, you know, Kayla Clark tried to get a setting foot down, but gets traveled for her efforts.
5-0 run for the Rattlers, and they've got the ball. Baseline, here's Sydney Hendricks working through contact, scores off the window around Clark.
And this
Great move.
This shows to be a different Rattlers team than the one that played in Moore Gymnasium all those months ago.
Yeah, and then the Wildcats jumped out to a huge lead in that game and actually were penned back in the second half. Here's a horn set. Chanel Wilson moving right. She pulls up a jumper from 16 feet, misses it short, rebound FAMU. They look to run. Long stretch pass ahead. Gilbert under the basket, lays it in. Correction, Grizzle from Gilbert on the long stretch pass. And the pace of this Rattler offense right now giving the Wildcats fits. 18-8 with 5 minutes to go. A 10-0 run for FAMU.
Yep. Grizzle showing out on her senior night.
Here's Omariah Tucker, Chanel Wilson left wing, into the low block, extra pass, and ripped away from Dorsey, looking for the foul, no call. Rattlers with it. Subirats in transition across the far stripe, across the timeline in front of the BCU bench. She's harassed by Woods and gives it up to Gilbert. Gilbert, they're gonna get a reach-in foul against against Damani Dorsey, and Kariana Woods will check back in, and the Wildcats looking for answers on both sides of the ball right now.
Yeah, the frantic pace of the Rattlers has been, you know, giving the Wildcats, you said, fits. They've just not been able to really set up what they want. They've been looking for foul calls and not getting them, and the Rattlers have taken advantage of that to get out to this early lead. Shades of what we saw when they played in Moore as Grizzle
at the free throw line, up and under, ripped through, good. And it is 20-8. This game was 8-8 3 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Here's Kariana Woods underneath to the flashing. Now here's Woods. That was from Edwards. Woods lays it up and in. Finally, a 4-minute scoring drought broken for the Wildcats. They're down by 10, 20-10. Grizzle away out high, guarded by Edwards, runs into a screen. Clark switches on to her. Now she's double teamed against the side of the court. Gives it up to Subirats underneath the basket. Wide open layup, good for Sydney Hendricks. That's the second time we've tried to trap Grizzle, and she's found the wide open man underneath.
Yeah. 2 times they try to set up this high press, high trap, and it doesn't work, leaving somebody open down low for an easy bucket.
13-2 run over the last 3:34 for FAMU. They lead it 22-10 with 3:33 to go first quarter. Baseline drive for Woods, gives it up. Edwards rips through, floats it up and in off the front of the rim. Nice move by DeShante.
They've been making some tough baskets, but the Rattlers have just had more of them.
Ariana Grizzle slows it down across the time stripe. 3:16 to go in the first quarter. It's a 10-point lead for the home team. Grizzle almost walked with it, went to Gilbert down low. She works against Clark, throws it up off the window, no good. Subirats offensive rebound, hook shot back up, no good again. Battle for the rebound underneath. It finally comes to a Bethune-Cookman Wildcat being Kariana Woods, and then she is tripped up in transition. And that's going to be the first foul on Sydney Hendricks. 2:59 to go first quarter. As we have a check-in from Jalea Sharp. She is the height on this team. 6'3", a junior center from Garland, Texas, a transfer from UNC Wilmington, is sharp. Wildcats control out high. Here's Chanel Wilson. Hands back to Omaria Tucker. Around the horn it goes to Woods. Looking back to Edwards, top of the key. She drives, contact in the lane, throws it up, no good, gets her own miss. In traffic, puts it up again, missed it right. And Sharp grabs the board. Into the front court. Delancey blows by Sharp into the corner for Subudets. Back on top. Grizzle wide open for three. Bricked it too strong. And the rebound to Tucker.
Very, very frantic pace.
Wilson tries to go coast to coast with it. Layup high off glass, too strong. Clark tips the rebound, but right to Gilbert. And the Rattlers control, still up 10, 22-12, 2:14 to go first quarter. And this is the kind of shooting, Henson, that has plagued this Wildcats team down the stretch in the last month or so.
Yeah, they've been struggling from pretty much everywhere on the court towards the tail end of this season, just not able to make consistent baskets.
Grizzle gets the screen, goes left, places it to the corner, catch and shoot three from the wing. No good, too strong. Ball tipped around, rebound, out of bounds, and it'll be Wildcat ball. Actually, a reach-in foul called on Shawnee Gilbert as Kayla White comes back in. White has 6 points. Nobody else for the Wildcats with more than 2. Already Grizzle up to 8. And everybody that has touched the floor for the Rattlers has scored. Wildcats inbound, 1:51 to go first quarter, trailing by 10. Need some offense quickly here. This one could get out of sorts fast. Between the circles, here's DeShante Edwards. Gives it up to Wilson. Floats it into the short corner for Clark. Skip pass to the wing. Here's DeShante Edwards with a three. Bullseye! And with 1:32 to go, it's 22-15.
Type of clutch shooting these Wildcats need. You know, they haven't been hot from beyond the arc for much of the season, but it would be a great time to have that now.
Rattlers on a 2-minute scoreless streak here. Wildcats could do with another stop with 1:20 to go in the first quarter. Grizzle twirls a screen from Gilbert out high. Gets to a 15-foot spot. Puts it up. Back iron no good. Offensive rebound to Lancey. And the ball is ripped out of her hands, but a reach-in foul called underneath. And she will go to the line as they say it's in the act of shooting. And they'll call Kayla Clark for her first foul. And we saw this even in the win against Alabama State last time out. Offensive rebounds, these Wildcats give up a lot of them.
Yeah, and against good teams, you can't do that. You can't afford to give them these extra opportunities. The men's team does it as well from time to time.
Olivia Delancey misses the first free throw. 1:11 to go, 22-15 Rattlers with the sophomore from St. Pete, Florida. Transfer from St. Pete College at the line for one more penalty shot. Puts the second one up and in. 1:11 to go. 23-15. Wildcats have got it down to under 10. They've trailed by as many as 12 in this ballgame and have never led in the contest. In the front court, it's Wilson at the nail, kicks it back out Edwards. She's already hit 1-3. She goes back to Wilson at the free throw line. Wilson's pull up, Gazra shot blocked, but a foul called against Delancey, and she is incredulous as to how that one was a foul. But, I mean, she got her on the wrist.
Yeah. Try to go straight up with it, but accidentally, puts her hand a little bit too far forward and ends up getting contact. The ref's going to see that and call that, especially here early in the game.
So Chanel Wilson playing her final collegiate regular season game, trying to prevent this from being her final collegiate game, puts the first free throw up and in. And it is 23-16, 55 seconds to go. Wilson, originally from Powder Springs, Georgia, spent 3 seasons in Indiana, and then, of course, the last 2 at Bethune-Cookman. Makes them both 23-17. Grizzle into the front court. Bounce pass back to Lancey. She drives with her left hand. Kicks it out to Hendricks, who controls left wing side. Picks up her dribble now. Finds Delancey again. Baseline drive. Pull up is good from 10 feet. And that's the kind of mid-range jumper the Wildcats have kind of gone away from in the later part of this season, especially from Chanel McDonald. 28 seconds to go. 5-second difference shot clock to game clock. 25-17 the Rattler lead. Out on top and into the paint. Here's White. Puts up a shot high off glass and it rattles down. Shot clock off. 16 to go first quarter. 25-19 Rattlers with the lead. Nice fight back from the Wildcats here in the last closing stage of this first quarter as Grizzle almost turns it over. Gets it back in the corner. Out on top. A three is good from Olivia Delancey. She hits those at 33.7%, and that's the end of the first quarter. And the Rattlers deny a strong close to the quarter by Bethune-Cookman with 2 huge buckets, and they lead it 25-19 at the end of the first. The baseball Diamond Cats are back at Jackie Robinson Ballpark looking to continue their hot start to the 2024 season. You can catch Bethune-Cookman baseball this weekend as the Wildcats host Maine for a 3-game series at the Jack. Saturday, March 9th at 6 p.m. That's tonight if you're in Daytona Beach, or Sunday, March 10th. Tickets start at just $10. Can't make it to the park? You can catch all the action live at youtube.com/CatEye Network. And tonight it'll be Bryce and Daryl Natil handling the play-by-play duties from Jackie Robinson. I'll be back there tomorrow with Daryl. So it's we're stretched a little thin here on the CatEye Network with you and I up here in Tallahassee and them back down there in Daytona Beach.
Yeah, you know, it's crossover season here towards the tail end of basketball season and the ramping up of baseball season and softball and track and all sorts. So it's always very funny to see where CatEye members are. Eugene Robinson was in Grambling and Southern with the basketball teams, obviously, the prior week, and then had to drive down here. So it's been a very exciting week sports-wise for the Wildcats. But something that hasn't been exciting is the start to this game for the Wildcats.
Yeah, the Rattlers shooting 66% from the floor and 50% from 3. They scored 28 points in the first quarter. That's NBA numbers, and they play longer quarters than we do.
Yeah, but to their credit, the Wildcats have hung in there. Only, you know, they're almost at 20 points, 28-19. And they haven't been shooting poorly either. That's the funny part.
They're 6 of 10 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3, and 6 out of 6 from the free throw line. In any other context, that's usually a pretty good first quarter. But defensively, they've just been run literally out of the building.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's not often you see a Janelle Creighton-led team beat this badly defensively, and we'll see if they make the adjustments as they start the second half here. Second half underway. Bethune-Cookman in the black attacks the basket to listeners left. Pull-up jumper from White, too strong. And the rebound goes to Jalea Sharp of Florida A&M. Trying to increase the lead back to double digits. They have a 9-point one right now, 28-19 at the start of quarter number 2. Ariana Grizzle slows the pace down. Heels on the Rattler logo. Picks up a dribble. Throws right to Subidots into the high post. And then down low. The ball's ripped away. Woods with the steal. Wilson pushes it ahead. White up the floor. She finds Edwards underneath. In traffic, in a 3-player knot of players, somehow throws it out to White. Wilson, right-hand wing. She drives, tries to throw it up, gets her shot blocked, gets it back, spins through, up and in, and good. What a possession for the Wildcats.
Yeah, I don't even know how that ball ends up in the basket for the Wildcats. There are about 4 to 5 chances that should have been a turnover and going the other way, but the Wildcats do a great job of rescuing that offensive possession.
9 minutes to go here in the first half. Delancey slips in the paint, rolls it down low, and then it's thrown away by Sharp into the BCU bench, and a second straight turnover for Florida A&M. And this is what the Wildcats need to do, force those turnovers.
Yep.
It's part of your Southeast Toyota Leaders keys to the game, I believe.
Yeah, need them to, you know, get those extra possessions, especially if they're going to be shooting so well. You need to take advantage of those extra shots that you're going to get in this game. Wildcats
with the basketball. Wilson back to Edwards out on top. She goes right-hand wing. Kayla White, baseline drive with the left hand. Tries to dump it off underneath the Clark and turns it over. Grizzle in transition. One-on-one with Woods. She goes up at the hoop and scores.
And currently the Rattlers are winning that turnover battle that the Wildcats need to win. That's part of the reason they have this big lead.
30-21, back to a 9-point gap. They throw it in the paint. Clark goes to work on Sharp. She's out of steps, throws it back. White, soft toss, back iron no good, and the rebound comes down to Delancey. Grizzle across the time stripe, 8:11 to go second quarter. She controls right-hand wing between the legs, gets bumped by Kayla White. That is her first foul. And the first foul of the quarter as Chanel McDonald checked back in. McDonald only played 4 minutes of that first quarter and didn't even start today's contest.
Yeah, very interesting lineup decision here for Coach Creighton. Usually McDonald's pretty much a shoo-in to start if healthy.
Well, McDonald comes back in replacing Clark. So it'll be Woods, White, Edwards, Clark, and Wilson on the floor right now for the Wildcats. A&M to inbounds. Hendricks is the gunner all the way down to the corner to our right. She plays it in short corner to Grizzle. Pull-up jumper off the front of the rim, no good. And it's a rebound is grabbed by Chanel Wilson. She's in the open floor. Stops, goes to coast, rips through, off the glass and in. Great job to get her defender to go by her, and she scores. Grizzle tries to reply quickly the other way. She blows by Woods with the forearm and then steps out of bounds. Wildcat ball.
Tried to answer too fast almost. Didn't have really the time to set up anything. Blows by one defender but gets stopped and goes out of bounds. Would have been called for a double dribble likely if she didn't step out.
And I think both teams are feeling the both positive and negative effects of this fast-paced game. McDonald catch and shoot from the baseline, too strong, gets her own miss. Rips through, goes back up with it at the hoop, too strong again as she misses two good chances there. 30-23, Rattlers by 7, 7:30 to go in this first half. Slower start on offense for both teams here in this second quarter. It's Delancey out high. She goes left through a double team, finds Hendricks in the mid-range. Hendricks picks up her dribble, finds Grizzle at the right wing. She's open for three, takes a three, misses it right, and Kayla White grabs the board.
Yep, just kind of an awkward possession for the Rattlers. Kind of almost lost the ball a couple times on those passes.
Wilson to Kayla White. She takes a left-hand dribble drive all the way to the hoop. Floater up and no good. Wilson fighting for the rebound down low. Gets, Chanel McDonald, grabs the board. She tries to put it back up. Wilson grabs another board. She puts it off the glass and scores through contact. Wildcats buzzing around the rim in this second quarter and have lowered the gap to 5. It's 30-25. Timeout, Coach Bridget Gordon in Florida A&M with the Wildcats on a 5-0 run.
Chanel McDonald will argue that was a pass the whole time. Was getting harassed by Rattlers defenders and finds Chanel Wilson somehow through them and gets that ball to her, and she makes a tough layup. Both teams making a lot of tough shots to start this game out.
Wilson showing out in her final collegiate regular season game up to 8 points. Kayla White also at 8 points. And the key, obviously, from Coach Janelle Creighton on offense was attack the basket. There's not much around the edge passing. There's not much in and out play. It's somebody gets it at the top of the key and just beelines it for the paint.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that we've been probably saying all season. We're not shooting well from three. Why play like we are? And this driving has been working, especially in the second quarter, closing down that gap. 6-2 run for this entire second quarter compared to that 19-28 run that we saw from the Rattlers. As I've said before, basketball is a game of runs. And if we can get on a big one in the second quarter and go into the half up, that would be a really good situation. But there's still 6 minutes and 43 seconds left in this second quarter.
And the Wildcats have shown this season that the third quarter is their enemy sometimes. They come out of the break flat. Yep, Nike is the official outfitter of the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. Gear up on the newest BCU Nike gear at nike.com/Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. And make sure you are representing Bethune-Cookman University Athletics to the fullest. Buy the latest BCU gear online at the Bethune-Cookman online store. That's BCUathletics.com and click on shop. Henson, quickly before we get back to live action, this is your first road trip of the season with the CatEye Network Radio. This is our first road radio broadcast since December when we were at Florida. It's good to get out on the road.
Yeah, it's nice to, you're in more gym all the time, and sometimes it's nice to see what other universities are doing, what their gym setup is like, what their, technological setup is like. So when you come back to your home, you can kind of take some of the good stuff as we get back underway here.
Rattlers will control, 6:40 to go, and a 5-point lead, 30-25. Grizzle zips it right side. Here is Subirats through the lane. Hendricks, tough control, left-hand side, stops at the free throw line, picks up her dribble. Back out Gordon, catch and shoot three. It is short, and the rebound is fought for by Subirats, out of bounds, BCU ball. Correction, that was a three by Delancey. Bridget Gordon is the coach. She hasn't shot a three in quite some time, as she's the former Tennessee player, played under Pat Summitt, a team that went to 4 straight top Final Fours and won 2 national titles. Into the low post. Up fake from McDonald. Double teamed. Goes back out to Wilson. Step back three. It is good! And the foul. Unless there's a foul before the shots. We will see what they call. The referee is deciding. And we will go to the benches now. I'm not sure what happened. If the shot is good, it's a 3-point game, 30-27 with a 6:12 to go. And the referees are explaining to Coach Creighton what they are looking at. Of course, we are not at the scorer's table. We're on the opposite side, so we don't know what's going on. The only thing that I can think it could be is that they might have seen a flagrant action somewhere, like an elbow or something, but I certainly didn't see it.
Yeah, I mean, it just kind of looked like, even on the step back, I wasn't sure if it was a foul call. At first, I maybe thought she double dribbled or something of that nature, but maybe an off-ball foul or something, because it really didn't look from our perspective like a foul on Chanel Wilson.
No, and she was clear in space, which is why I'm surprised that the whistle was blown. She did that double kind of James Harden-esque step back to the right corner, drained to three. So they do call the shot good, and then Hendricks is called for the foul. So I think we're going to get a 4-point play opportunity here for Chanel Wilson.
Yep. Her and Kayla White have been hot out the blocks for the Wildcats.
And this is a return to form for Chanel, who missed most of the last 2 months with an injury, and really not how she wanted her final season at the collegiate level to go. And I mean, she's got a chance. Correction, it was not a shooting foul. It was an off-ball foul, so it's just possession for the Wildcats under the basket. 3-point lead for the Rattlers, 6:12 to go. They floated up to McDonald at the nail. Kick to the corner. Baseline drive back to McDonald. She floats it up and in, and it's a 1-point game. Oh, correction, it's a tie game, 30-30, with 6 minutes to go in the half. What a 7-0 run for the Wildcats.
Really locked in offensively here, and all those points at the tail end of the first quarter have been really important.
Almost a botched handoff at the top of the key. Gilbert has it. She goes right. Subidot's baseline drive. Backdoor cutting pass and a blocking foul underneath as she crashed. Oh, no, an offensive foul. They're going to call it against Subidots for the charge. I missed the referee's signal. All I heard was the whistle. So they do get a charge, and the Wildcats a chance to take their first lead of the game with 5:44 to go in the first half.
Yeah, the Wildcat bench got really excited, so I assumed that there was a offensive foul as the Rattlers PA plays the loudest noise I've heard.
It sounds almost like an incidental, like somebody unplugged the microphone and plugged it back in.
Yeah, record scratch sound effect. I don't know, but we're back to action here.
Here we go. Wildcats in the all-black. Wilson across the time stripe, pitches it left to DeShante Edwards. Edwards into the high post. White goes around a defender, all the way under, up and under is good with the reverse layup, and it's a lead for the Wildcats, 32-30, 5:30 to go in the first half. Grizzle to the corner. Here's Sylvester. Sylvester turns it over, stolen by Edwards. Edwards runs the floor, coast to coast, puts it up, too strong, gets her own miss, second effort is blocked, and it's out of bounds, Rattlers ball. And Henson, we were talking about this in the car on the way up here, right? We love how DeShante Edwards and Cariana Woods attack the basket, but you're 5'7", right? Going against 6'3", 6'2" centers. At that point, pitch it out, continue the offensive possession.
Yeah, I mean, she did everything right. She gets the steal. She goes coast to coast. You know, she could have passed it out there, but tried to go up twice, doesn't get it, and then turns the ball over.
Grizzle to Subidot's left-hand corner, 5 minutes to go, and a 2-point lead for the Cats. Faking the three, taking the baseline jumper way too strong from Delancey. The ball goes out of bounds. It'll remain with the Rattlers, last touch by Wilson. Rattlers will inbound under the basket that they attack. 11 on the shot clock, 4:55 to go in the first half. Wildcats 32-30 on top in a must-win situation to punch their ticket to the playoffs. And a pass to Gilbert, almost a steal by Edwards, but she is fouled as Edwards got her up high in the neck area, and she looks towards Ariana Grizzle and apologizes. Yeah. That's just one where she's going for the steal.
And Coach Creighton goes immediate to the ref and saying that she got the ball, so it should be incidental contact.
I'm sorry, I don't agree with you there, Coach. We're all the way over here, and I saw that she got Grizzle up around the shoulder area. Yeah. So another fresh 20 on the shot clock for the Rattlers. They trail by 2, 4:53 to go first half. The ball goes into Hendricks, top of the circle. She throws it to Grizzle. Lane open, she drives and turns it over after she slips. Wilson up ahead to White, all the way to the hoop. Stops and pops and travels before she got the shot away. And the Wildcats have failed to convert on 2 straight open court opportunities. That might come back to haunt them.
Yeah, a little bit of disbelief there. I don't even know how you traveled in the situation Kayla White was in.
She didn't even need to move her feet, just put the ball up. Subidot's little dribble step, to the corner. Subidots gets it back in the right-hand corner, and did she step on the out-of-bounds line? No. No, it's going to be an off-ball foul, a hold on DeShante Edwards. So now the Wildcats got to watch out for some foul trouble. That's Edwards' second, and I'm sure she will come out. She will be replaced by Damani Dorsey.
Yep, she's been hunting Grizzle defensively all this second quarter, and Grizzle's been quiet. She's done a great job.
Inbounding in front of the Wildcat bench is Gilbert. She plays it in. Hendricks, dribble drive across the paint, throws it out of bounds, and it's still Rattler ball as it came off the back of Chanel McDonald. Chanel didn't know anything about it. That was just a misplaced pass, and this offensive possession for the Rattlers, it seems like it's gone on forever.
Yeah, it's been 32-30 for like 2 minutes now.
Up on top to Delancey. She goes left-hand dribble drive into the lane. Spinning, jump shot, back iron it in, and we're tied at 32, 4 minutes to go in the first half. Man, missed opportunities for the Wildcats on both ends right there.
Yep.
Wildcats control. Wilson walks back to the top of the circle. Guarded out high by Gilbert. She goes left, around a screen, floats it up into the post, catch, and putting it up and in is Chanel McDonald. A beautifully worked pick and roll.
This offense has been firing for the Wildcats. We've missed this for much of the season.
Cats by 2. Grizzle goes right, goes left. Step back jumper. Too strong. Rebound to the Wildcats. They look to go in transition. Here's Dorsey. Coast to coast. Puts it up. A bucket and a foul. Damani Dorsey flexes on him. That time the transition offense works as intended.
Gets the tough and one and the foul on Grizzle, who after a hot start obviously is the offensive workhorse for this Rattlers team. Has not been hitting her shots as consistently as the start. Now 5 for 11.
The Wildcats have outscored the Rattlers 17-4 in the quarter. They have a 4-point lead. Dorsey into her motion, makes it 5 at the free throw line. 37-32, 3.5 to go in the first half. Wildcats got to maintain this momentum into the locker room. Grizzle calls a play at the right-hand wing, steps back to the top, round a screen from Gilbert. Now it's Subidots, guarded by Dorsey. Subidots goes left, takes a jumper, too strong, rebound to the Cats and Chanel McDonald. VCU looks to run out of the break. Here's Woods. She is forced to the corner by Subidots. Double team goes back to Wilson. Jab step into the corner. Kayla White for 3. Oh, off the front of the rim, but an offensive rebound for Woods. She gets her layup blocked. Going the other way is Subidots. Hands it back to Grizzle. She dances, she drives, she gets to the paint, throws it up. Foul against McDonald, who barged her out of the way.
And something we saw in that first half, remember the Wildcats were down by double digits and then clawed back to make it only a 9-point lead heading into the second quarter. So we could see something similar out of the Rattlers here in this tail end 3:05.
And now Grizzle, a tie for a team-high 10 points with Delancey, a chance to take that lead. She'll shoot 2. And 2 fouls on McDonald, 2 fouls on Edwards as they begin to mount up. Grizzle misses the free throw. Rattlers shooting sub 50% from the stripe right now. Grizzle bounces the ball once, twice, bends her hips, throws the second one up, and good. And it is 33. Wildcats lead it, 2:56 to go in the first half. Remember, playoffs on the line for Bethune-Cookman, win and in. Chanel Wilson throws it in the paint to Clark, who's just checked in. Wilson gets it back. Pull-up jumper from 15 feet, rattles it down. Chanel Wilson says, I am not going home tonight. 39-33, Cats on top. Grizzle controls in front of the BCU bench. She's guarded by White, gets a screen, goes round it, kicks to Subidots. Doesn't take the 3, pressured by Wilson. Subidots goes left, back between the circles, then hands back to Grizzle. Ariana, stop and go, and dribbles with her left hand, kick to the corner, 3 on the way, short off the front rim by Gilbert. And now, open floor, Kayla White, all the way to the bucket, missed the layup short. Grizzle, numbers for the Rattlers, into the paint, extra pass, Delancey good. Hendricks. Wow. Another blown transition opportunity for the Wildcats.
Yep, 4 free points are sitting on the table there.
39-35, Wildcats up top. 2 minutes to go. Wilson at the free throw line. She dances against Subirats, goes up, too strong. Clark the rebound, put back, too strong. Wilson again, too strong. Man, oh man, the Wildcats can't get a break underneath the basket. Rebound to Florida A&M. Delancey at the top of the key, loses the handle. It is Wildcat ball as it dribbles out of bounds. And then we're going to see Chariot Johnson, the freshman, check in for the first time of the game. She'll replace Kayla Clark as the Wildcats will go small for the last 132 in this first half.
Yeah, I was about to say, Chariot Johnson definitely not replacing Kayla Clark size-wise. Actually, Kayla Clark's
inbounding Clark's
the
just
ball.
throwing in the ball, excuse me. She replaces Dorsey. Top of the key, here's Woods, guarded by Subirats. Zips it right to Chanel Wilson. She walks back to the top. Between the circles, hands to Woods. Woods resets again. Johnson cuts in front of Wilson at the top. Wilson jab steps, goes right. Back to the top for Johnson, 10 to shoot. Throws into the paint. Clark back out, corner three. It is rattled in and out by Wilson. That was a good look for the Wildcats. 39-35, 1 minute to go in the first half. Delancey controls for the Rattlers. She goes right, and an offensive foul as she pushed off with the elbow. And a technical foul as well. She got in the face of the referee. And you can hear Janelle Creighton from all the way over here screaming at her team, come here, don't engage, do not get another technical.
Yep. And Coach Gordon immediately was talking to Delancey and telling her to come here as well.
So I think that might be fouls 3 and 4 against Delancey. She already had 2. If she gets the foul and the tech.
As she does on the live stats, she's 10 points, 4 fouls in 19 minutes.
And that's a big potential loss, as she will definitely sit for the rest of the second quarter, potentially most of the third, too. She's the second leading scorer on this Florida A&M team, and the Wildcats will get a technical free throw and the ball. 55 seconds to go first half. They lead at 39-35. Chanel Wilson will toe the line for the tech. Wilson, the graduate student, spins the ball in her left hand, bounces it, puts it up, and it's good. And she's got one more technical free throw coming, 40-35, 5-point lead for the Cats. Bridget Gordon is still talking to her team as Wilson takes the second one, makes the second one, and it's going to be the ball for Bethune-Cookman, 41-35.
And surprisingly, Delancey is still on the court.
And that is a big surprise. She's got 4 fouls. If I'm Bethune-Cookman, I'm going right at her right now, trying to get her out in the first half. 53 seconds to go. Wildcats control up 6. Dorsey top of the key. Hands back. Left side, Chariot Johnson. She's guarded by Delancey. All the way across it goes. Woods baseline drive, floats it up, too short. Clark rips down the rebound. Her putback is no good, and no foul on the play as well. 33 seconds to go, 2 seconds difference. Shot clock to game clock. It's Delancey all the way through. She's fouled by Dorsey with a hip check. And I believe that will put the Rattlers on the line. Yes, they will, because it's the bonus for both teams.
And what Delancey did there was extremely dangerous with 4 fouls, driving with reckless abandon towards the basket. And if I was on that defense, I would have just stepped right in front of her and took a charge.
You saw Kayla Clark was trying to, and then she got hip checked by Dorsey from behind. So if Dorsey doesn't make that, maybe she does get a charge there. But it's 2 shots for Delancey. First one is in and out. Still a 6-point lead for the Cats, 41-35. And this second quarter has been all Bethune-Cookman, 22-7. Delancey's second free throw good. And now she will come out replaced by Nia Bostic, the senior from Decatur, Georgia. And a transfer from just up the road in Tallahassee Community College.
Actually, that's Grizzle that comes out. She is still in the game with 4 fouls.
27 seconds to go first half. Shot clock off. Wildcats can hold for the final attack of the game. Into the front court. Back up top. Chanel Wilson will hold for the final shot. She'll back all the way up with her heels on the midcourt stripe. She's guarded by Subirats. Wilson calls for the offense to wait in front of her. 8 seconds left, now 7. She goes right with 6. Top of the circle 5. Drives with 4. Kicks to the corner. Chariot Johnson at the horn. Too strong. Tip in is good. And the foul as well. Kayla Clark. Unbelievable. She tipped in the missed 3-pointer and got pushed in the back.
Wide left from Chariot Johnson. But once again, another one of those plays that you're going to say was totally a pass. Straight to Kayla Clark, who makes a tip in. DeAndre Ayton-esque with .6 seconds left on the clock, getting fouled as well.
A chance to go to the line. It's 43-36. Clark into her motion. Good. 44-36 Wildcats. .6 on the clock. Subadats won't even try the half-court heave. And we head to the second quarter. Halftime interval, a second quarter to remember for the Wildcats. They shoot 60% from the floor. They outscore FAMU 25-8. The Rattlers only hit 3 field goals in the quarter. Henson, that's as the doctor ordered for Bethune-Cookman right now, after a rocky start, too.
Yeah, that might have been the best offensive quarter we've seen from the Wildcats in a long while, outside of that, especially outside of that Alabama State game. But Wildcats did a great job in that second quarter, getting to their offense, driving, taking advantage of what the defense was giving them. Chanel Wilson made a 3. She has 15. Kayla White has 10. And they've really been the leading scorers for this Wildcats team. Kayla Clark, obviously, with that clutch putback basket towards the tail end there. But Florida A&M just couldn't get their offense going. 0 for 3 from beyond the arc, 3 for 10 in that second quarter. Guess how many shots in the second quarter the Wildcats got up? 28 in the second quarter. That's usually a half amount. And
that is as many as the Rattlers have in the game.
Yeah. 28 shots. You saw those extra chance rebounds. Got Delancey in foul trouble. 6 fouls on the Rattlers. Offensive rebounds, 9 to the Rattlers, just 3. And that's one of the main takeaways. They stopped turning the ball over as much, forced more Rattler turnovers, and have taken advantage of those extra looks from that and those offensive rebounds.
And I want to we'll get out of the way and go for the halftime break here in a second, but I want to mention it could be more for the Wildcats. How many points did they leave off the table off of blown layups and travels and stuff off of turnovers?
I would definitely argue, Kayla White missed those 2 layups opportunities. One she missed and the other one she traveled on, and then Deshaunte Edwards got that steal and just didn't kick it out. And that's, at minimum 6 points that you're missing out on. This could have been a double-digit lead for the Wildcats heading to the half, but now an 8-point lead. But once again, the third quarter has been the trouble quarter for the Wildcats all season. And the scary thing is you don't want to be down in that fourth quarter. You don't want to have to be close. We've seen this team struggle late in those clutch moments. Our overtime record and late game record isn't amazing this season.
The Wildcats lead it at the break, 44-36, thanks to a massive second quarter. We'll take a break for about 10 minutes. When we come back, it's the Southeast Toyota Dealers halftime report and the second half between the Florida A&M Rattlers and the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. Wildcats trying to punch their ticket to the SWAC playoffs right here on the CatEye Network. Welcome back to the Al Lawson Center in Tallahassee. It's the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats and the Florida A&M Rattlers' final game of the regular season for women's basketball. The Wildcats use a strong second quarter to lead at the break, 44-36. It's now time for our Southeast Toyota dealers halftime report. Here's all the numbers. First for Florida A&M, Delancey has 11, but crucially 4 fouls and a technical that were sustained in that second quarter. Grizzle has 11. I mean, she's entertaining as always. Hendricks has 6, Gilbert 5, Sharp 2, Subirats 1. For the Wildcats, it is all Chanel Wilson, a vintage Chanel performance, 15 points for her. Also 3 rebounds, assist, and a steal. The 10 points for Kayla White. She's been good tonight as well. DeShante Edwards and Kayla Clark have 5. McDonald has 4. Dorsey 3. Woods 2. Tucker and Johnson have played but have not scored. Rebounding-wise, Bethune-Cookman leads at 20-16 and 9-3 on the offensive boards. Second chance points 5-1 in favor of Bethune-Cookman. Assist, FAMU 10, Bethune-Cookman 7. Turnovers, FAMU 8, Bethune-Cookman 6. But only 6 points for the Wildcats off of the 8 FAMU turnovers. 11 points off turnovers off of 6 BCU turnovers for FAMU. So they are definitely controlling that part of the game. FAMU 11 points on the fast break. The Wildcats just 7. Both teams have 24 points in the paint. And of course, the big stat, 25-8 in that second quarter after the Rattlers won the first quarter 28-19. I'm Michael Torello, happy to have your company. Henson White, your thoughts on a thoroughly entertaining first half of basketball here from Tallahassee?
Yeah, at first that first half had me a little concerned. I was worried about, how the Wildcats came out and played. They were getting to their offense, but they were turning the ball over. They weren't playing that well defensively, which was usually what we expect out of this team. And then that second quarter, it all clicked. They were shooting well in that first half. They shot 60%, 50% from beyond the arc. And then the defense started clicking, and the offense stayed consistent, and they scored 25.
Yeah, they've forced 8 Florida A&M turnovers. This is a FAMU team that turns the ball over on average 19 times per game. That's second to last in the SWAC. So if we can get them to turn the ball over more and especially capitalize on more points off turnovers, I think we'll be set up in a decent spot going into the second half.
Yeah, that's exactly what Coach Creighton was probably telling them in the locker room. You did the hard part. You came back from down, and now you're looking to have that big key game for the Wildcats. 44-36 currently. As the warm-ups here start, the Rattlers come out of their locker room. Disappointing second quarter from them, especially after how hot they started in that first quarter. 3 of 10 from the field, as you said in the halftime report. 0 for 3 from beyond the arc, and I think that was the main problem. What was really giving them that lead in that first quarter, was that three-pointer was going down, 2 for 4, and that really was an energy sucker for the Wildcats offensively.
Yeah.
And then they couldn't get him to go, and then their possessions were very quick when they had shot those threes, which gave the Wildcats more time to shoot and more time to score.
So I just talked to the referee about that weird interaction where Chanel Wilson did a quarter 3, then there was a foul that went to the monitor. It was just a reach-in foul underneath off the ball against FAMU. They counted the basket and then gave the Wildcats possession. So that's what happened there.
We're just looking for a bit of clarification.
Here we go. The Rattlers trailing 36-44 to the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. They are in the all-whites with a orange stripe down the sides, green yoke on the shoulders, and orange numbers. Wildcats of the road, black trimmed in maroon and gold, maroon numbers, gold trim. Bethune above the numbers in gold, Cookman below in gold. The Rattlers start with the ball. They attack the basket. 2 listeners left. Ariana Grizzle takes the inbounds pass, and away we go for half number 2. Wildcats trying to close this one out and secure a trip to the SWAC tournament. Far side, here's Gilbert. Gilbert gets a screen, goes left. They blitz the screener. Gilbert drives to the nail, and she traveled with the basketball, moved her pivot foot. Another turnover for the Rattlers.
Yep, and this is exactly the last thing you wanted if you were a Rattlers fan, is that quick turnover. You already didn't have the energy going into the half, and this Wildcats historically hasn't been the best third-quarter team, so you would be looking to take advantage of that. You need to get your crowd into the game.
Rattlers start with a full-court press. Wildcats will break it. White crosses the time stripe, 9:32 to go in this third quarter. No scoring yet. Just one possession for Florida A&M. It's the first for the Wildcats. Here's Tucker driving, floating it up, off the rim, no good. Clark offensive rebound, put back, off the window and in, bucket and the foul. Kayla Clark is feasting tonight.
Yep. This looks to be a team that wants to go to that SWAC tournament bad. Fighting for every second chance opportunity, every offensive rebound, every board really. Then doing a great job in this second quarter and now the start of this third quarter.
Kayla Clark, who leads the league in offensive rebounding at 4 per game, grabs another one and finishes the and one. 47-36 Wildcats, 9:20 to go third quarter. But beware, here comes the dangerous Ariana Grizzle, averaging 18 points a game. She's got 11 right now. She kicks it left of the circle to Gilbert, back on top to Subirats. Subirats, handoff, Grizzle. Nothing inside the three-point line for the Rattlers so far on this possession. Back to the top, Gilbert again. She drives, stop to the top. Kick to the corner, Subirats, a three, no good, back iron, and the box out is good for Kayla Clark to grab the rebound, and then she immediately turns it over. Kayla White picks up the loose ball, and then sprints down the floor. White, coast to coast, and she is grabbed for a jump ball. It'll be Wildcat ball off the alternating possession. And I think at times maybe we're going too fast.
Yeah, I mean, you're up now 11. You don't have to push the tempo that much, but if it got you there, you know, especially if it's something that you know works against the Rattlers, you don't have to slow down.
Gets the inbounds pass, Tucker underneath. She is hacked and a foul as she went up for a layup. So that'll be on Sydney Hendricks, her third. So we talked about foul trouble for the Wildcats late in that first half, but really there's some foul trouble brewing for Florida A&M. Delancey, of course, with 4 as she checks in. Now Hendricks with 3 and Gilbert with 2. This is an odd move to put your second leading scorer in with 4 fouls with 8:42 to go in the third.
Maybe
Omaria Tucker at the line hits her first, 48-36.
Yeah, maybe the coach is thinking, okay, maybe hopefully she can play as long as she can, and then just she gets fouled and she's done. I don't understand completely the mentality
Tucker hits both, 49-36, 8:40 to go in the third quarter. Quick start for the Wildcats in this quarter, 4-0 so far in the frame. Grizzle tries to do it all herself, dumps it down low to Gilbert. She battles, throws it off the side of the backboard, but a foul. And I think they're going to get Cariana Woods for that late reach. Nope.
As DeShante Edwards has a conversation with the ref about getting a foul call for something. I don't know what, but can't harm her for trying.
Well, Nishani Gilbert goes to the line. The Rattlers are 4 of 8 from the stripe so far. And they wave off the first free throw, and it's no good. Lane violation on the Rattlers. Yvette Subirats was inside the three-point arc, and she was not one of the designated players. So that's a weird one you don't see every day. So that one goes down as a miss. Gilbert will get 1 free throw now. It is up, it is good. First point of the second half for the Rattlers, 49-37. Wildcats lead, 8:30 to go in the third. Rattlers show some full court press. Woods behind her back dribble gets into the front court. She's blitzed at the midcourt stripe, gets it to Kayla White. Got to be careful not to step on that midcourt line. She does, guarded by Subirats, goes to her left. White all the way to the hole, puts it up, and she's fouled. She was really late putting that free layup up. She hit it off the underside of the rim, but she did get hacked, I believe by, I'm not sure who the foul's going to be on. We'll see once it crosses the stat sheet here. And so it's a free throw shooting fest to start quarter number 3. It's on Grizzle. That's her second.
Eerily quiet from her in this third and the second quarter.
White into her motion, up and no good. Front iron, back iron, front iron, out. And that is the first free throw miss of the game for the Wildcats. They were 13 of 13 previously, including 4 of 4 from Kayla Clark, who's only a 50% free throw shooter. White drains the second one, and Chanel Wilson, who did not start on the floor in the second half, checks in for Cariana Woods. And crucially, I believe Olivia Delancey, with 4 fouls, is still out there as she inbounds the ball to Grizzle. Grizzle crosses the time stripe, face guarded by Edwards. She goes left and right around the screen. Baseline pull-up jumper, no good. Clark of a black hole on the baseline for the rebound for the Wildcats. Edwards blitzing through half court, loses the handle. It's in between the legs of a Rattler defender, a scramble on the sideline. The ball rolls to the middle. Clark has it, kick out, Tucker a three, no good. That was a wild possession as the ball changed hands about 3 or 4 times. Eventually the Wildcats got a shot and didn't hit it. 7:42 to go in the quarter. Delancey up on top. Remember, she's got 4 fouls. Guarded by Tucker. Goes to her left. Pull up, jump stop in the paint. No good. Subidot's there for the offensive rebound. She is everywhere attacking that basket. Delancey, straightaway three, good. And that's why you need to go at her and get her out of the game.
Yeah. Give this Rattlers team more dimensions offensively.
50-40. Wildcats up by 10. 7:18 to go. In the third quarter, Wilson around the screen from Clark to her left. She is blitzed by Hendricks and is forced to back up beyond the arc. Throws it up to Clark underneath. A mismatch against Subidots, but her layup is too strong, and it's missed. Delancey the rebound. Subidots in transition. Rattlers with numbers. She goes all the way to the hole. Dumps it down low. Hendricks fighting through contact and scores. And a quick 4-point run for the Rattlers to close the gap to 8, 50-42. The Wildcats cannot go away here. We've talked about the third quarter not being great for Bethune-Cookman this year.
Yeah, historically speaking, not an amazing third quarter team on these Wildcats.
Wilson back to Tucker, top of the key. She'll drive left, spin in the lane, create some space, and score with the floater.
But they seem to be trying to play out those demons here.
Nice bucket by Omari Tucker, her first field goal. Delancey quickly into the front court. Jump stop at the free throw line, rolls left and no good. White with the board. Wildcats look to move quickly. Cross the time stripe left to right. White splits a double team. Throws it off the window and in. How about that one from Kayla White?
Kayla White bounces off of Kayla Clark down low. If Kayla Clark was a Rattler, she would have probably gotten called for a foul there.
Kayla White is talking to Yvette Subidots right in front of the referee. Got to be careful about that. Coming back down the floor. Delancey controls for the Rattlers, down by 12, 54-42. Delancey round the screen. She goes to her left, gets to the baseline, steps back, drives against Clark, against Tucker, has her shot blocked, and it comes straight to Chanel Wilson. Wilson creates space, throws the ball to White at the midcourt. Kayla White stops, kicks, corner. Edwards, baseline drive, through a double team, blocking foul called. As Yvette Subidots, Nishani Gilbert did not have her feet set. It could have been either Subidots or Gilbert on that foul. They were both there.
Yep.
But either way, it is the third foul of the quarter already on the Rattlers with 5:42 to go. And they say it's in the act of shooting. So they say that Kayla White was ripping through up into a shooting motion, so she'll go to the line, Kayla White. The junior from Cleveland, Ohio. And I tell you what, you look at the names on this team, only one senior graduating in Chanel Wilson. You've got McDonald coming back, White and Woods and Edwards coming back, Dorsey coming back, Kayla Clark coming back next year. Add a volume point guard scorer in the transfer portal or recruiting, and you've got yourself a pretty good team right there.
Yeah, if it wasn't for injury, I think this Wildcats team would have been a shoo-in for the tournament regardless.
Correction, it is Deshante Edwards at the line. She makes her first one. She's up to 6 points on the night. She's also hit one of the 2 threes for the Wildcats in the contest. In this sparsely packed Al Lawson Center. Second one, no good. 5:40 to go. Wildcats with a 55-42 lead. Rattlers with the ball. Grizzle in the open floor. Jukes a defender out of her shoes, but Edwards forces her to the corner. Delancey out high. Still face guarded by Edwards. She is bugging this Rattler defense. A blitz out high. Delancey puts her shoulder through a defender, slips down, and travels as she slipped with both feet. It's been a tough game for Olivia Delancey. She started super hot. She actually leads the Rattlers with 14 points, 5 of 10 from the field and 2 for 4. But she's turned the ball over 4 times and has 4 fouls with 5:22 to go in the third quarter. But to be fair, she's done a really good job playing with those 4 fouls.
Yeah, she has done a great job of not getting, fouled out. We saw Angel Jackson had 4 fouls for much of the game we played against Jackson State at home.
5:14 to go, Wildcats control. Here's Deshante Edwards at the top of the circle, guarded by Grizzle. Gets it back to McDonald, who's just checked in. McDonald to Wilson, has the ball go out of bounds. Rattler ball, last touch by Wilson as Subidots was in her face. Turnover number 8 on the Wildcats. And every little opportunity that the Rattlers have to get back in this game makes me nervous, Henson.
Yep, it's one of those where it's like, this team, they're not going to go away easily.
Remember, they're in danger of missing the conference tournament if they lose as well. Grizzle blows by one, into the paint, dumps it off underneath. Subirats, extra pass, and a foul called underneath, and will send Sydney Hendricks to the free throw line. And then that's actually a foul on Chanel Wilson as we hit the media timeout of the third quarter. That's Wilson's first personal foul. Stay up to date with everything Bethune-Cookman Athletics by checking out the Wildcats on social media. Give BCU Athletics a like on Facebook and follow the Wildcats on Twitter and Instagram at BCU_athletics. For the latest on BCU women's basketball, follow at BCU WBB on Twitter and Instagram. Got a shout out, Eli, Gino, our entire CatEye Network crew here providing you the behind the scenes content. Sabrina doing the social posts as well.
Yep.
It takes a village to run this operation,
Definitely.
and we would not be here without them. I do want to also mention that a busload of Bethune-Cookman fans has arrived at halftime and is sitting behind the BCU bench making all sorts of noise. Good to see some hometown support here about 5 hours up the road.
Yeah, a good 50 people deep down here in Tallahassee. Nice to have some supporters around you, you know. But Wildcats are going to need to do a good job closing out this third quarter. You know, you have this 13-point lead, and for Grizzle, this is her senior night. This is not just for her. She wants the same thing as Chanel Wilson. She doesn't want this to be her last regular season collegiate game. Yeah. She wants to go to that tournament and at least, play. So that's part of the reason I think she's taken so many of these shots in this game is because you feel like you have to will this team as you have this entire season to win this game.
Other seniors on this Florida A&M team, Periana Sylvester, Ariana Grizzle, Yvette Subirats, Annabelle Latorre, Naya Bostic, all playing their final games at the Al Lawson Center tonight. And Sydney Hendricks, the freshman from Farmington Hills, Maryland, she, according to these Rattler people that I've talked to this week, is the Grizzle of the future, the leader of this team going forward, although she misses the first part of her two-shot penalty. Hendricks this year, a 39% shooter, 6.2 points a game, and originally from Farmington Hills, Michigan. Second one is up and good, 55-43. While Rattlers apply the full court press here. It comes into Chanel McDonald. And then Edwards in the backcourt runs the offense for Bethune-Cookman. Walks across the time stripe, hands to Kayla White. White guarded by Grizzle, heels on the midcourt stripe, goes to her right, loses the ball out of bounds. It'll stay with the Wildcats. At last touched by Ariana Grizzle.
I wonder what Rattler people you've been talking to, Michael.
Most of the people sitting right next to us. Their broadcast crew and their SIDs. Under the basket, Edwards, layup short, gets her own miss, puts it back up, and she's fouled and crashes to the ground. Great tenacity by Deshante Edwards, and we were talking at halftime, sometimes Edwards and Woods get a little bit too aggressive under the basket there, but that one was warranted, that putback.
Yeah, I mean, you get that rebound, you're kind of by yourself other than, the defender that's close to you. You don't really have any room to pass it out, so you're just going to go back with it, probably either going to make it or get fouled, and she gets fouled.
We will wait, and Deshante Edwards now steps to the line. Her first trip to the charity stripe today. Her first one is no good, and we lamented about Deshante Edwards' free throw shooting, 59%. She shot the most free throws of anybody on this team at over 200, and yet shy of 60% for the year. The second one is up and good, so it is 56-43. Wildcats 4:32 to go in the third. Wildcats show a little bit of token press, then back off as Grizzle gets it into the front court. Guarded by Williams, left-hand wing. She gets a screen. She's blitzed out of it, forced to go back to the top. Subirats open, corner three, too strong, and an offensive rebound is ripped away by Woods. Woods all the way to the hole, blocked by Grizzle, out of bounds. Wildcat will have it with 4:12 to go in the third.
Yeah, Grizzle fighting for her team's, survival at this point. They really, if you're a Rattlers fan, you really want to see them get a run to close out this third quarter.
Wildcats inbounding under the basket. Whistle and a stoppage of play.
A foul?
And a foul on Nishani Gilbert off the ball. So the Wildcats will still have it under the basket, but now in the bonus.
5 fouls for the Rattlers.
Oh, and that's on. Wait, that was on Delancey, and she's gone. I thought he put one finger up for Gilbert.
He did put one finger up.
And then the other ref corrected him. So Olivia Delancey, the high scorer in the game for Florida A&M with 14 points, has just fouled out with 4 minutes and 12 seconds to go in the third. Wildcats inbounding onto the basket that they attack to listeners right. Back up top, Kayla White. 20 on the shot clock. Hands at the back of the Rattlers logo to Chanel Wilson. She sizes up Gilbert, goes to her left. Kick out corner. No three coming from Woods. She drives, kicks it out. Three on the way. It is no good, short, and the ball goes out of bounds. That was an air ball from Deshante Edwards from three.
Yeah, I mean, I guess she had the hot hand. Once again, we're not the best three-point shooting team in the nation. So,
and I do want to mention that Sydney Hendricks, who's on the floor right now, also has 4 fouls, and she's got 9 points for the Rattlers. 2 of their top 3 scorers have either fouled out or have 4 fouls. Here's the other one. It's Grizzle floating it down low to Hendricks. She's bottled up by McDonald. Puts up a baseline jumper, and she got fouled. And Hendricks will go to the line. And that's McDonald's third, so the Wildcats now got to maybe start thinking about rotating some bodies in. Haven't seen Gabriella Stevens, only seen Chariot Johnson for about 2 minutes.
And the funny thing here, I think this is the first time all SWAC season that a team has had a shorter bench or a shorter amount of players that touch the court than the women's team.
First one good for Sydney Hendricks, 56-44 Wildcats. Up by 12. Hendricks looking to cut it to 11. It is up, it is good, and that is the gap. Kayla Clark comes back in, replacing Chanel McDonald. Yes, Sylvester Baltizger, Aina Subirats, that's Yvette's sister. Haley Brennan, Alabella Torre, and Alaya Ellis have not played. Full court press from the Rattlers. It comes into Woods. She's guarded closely under the Rattler basket, shovels it ahead. Wilson into the front court. All the way under the basket and throws it away as Clark was not where she thought she was going to be. And another turnover for Bethune-Cookman. Those starting to mount up, 9 for the Wildcats in this game.
Yep, tried to be a little pretty with the pass, no look, but not looking. So didn't see that Kayla Clark wasn't exactly where she expected her to be. And Coach Creighton and the assistant coaches told her to just calm down, You're up right now. It's not, don't crash out over it.
Yep. Rattlers on a 5-0 run, looking to make it more. Grizzle, step back mid-range, short. Rebound by Edwards. She runs in transition. Back, no-look pass finds Woods. Her shot is rejected by Yvette Subirats, who races back to slap it out of bounds.
And that play right there has been the loudest this gym has been for a long while.
Wildcat ball inbounding, baseline, under the basket that they attack. It goes all the way up on top, barely caught by Edwards as she was pressured by Nia Bostic, who just checks into the game. Wilson, 20 on the shot clock, 3 minutes in the third. She sizes up Gilbert, goes to her left, drives down the lane, up and under, no good. Clark battling for the rebound. Subirats grabs it. 2-on-1 for the Rattlers. Subirats all the way to the hole, and she scores. Yvette Subirats with her first field goal of the game, and I think Bethune-Cookman wants a timeout, and Coach Creighton does. A 6-0 run for the Rattlers, and they've cut it to under 10. 56-47, Wildcats lead with 2:47 to go in the third. Game of runs, Henson. Here comes FAMU.
Yeah, as I said before, it's a game of runs. Now a 12-11 third quarter. Still leading in the, point scoring for the quarter are the Wildcats. But obviously, Coach Creighton, very intelligent timeout. I was about to say she should look to call a timeout here after this run, during this run to stop it, try to stem this offensive surge from the Rattlers. And they're probably talking about the fact that, hey, Hendricks is on 4 fouls. You can get her out of the game. Gilbert's on 3. Subirats is on 2. Grizzle's on 2. Sharp's on 1. Everybody on this team.
Come be a part of BCU Athletics and support the CatEye Network. If your business is interested in partnering with us here on the CatEye Network, you can reach out to the Wildcat Athletic Communication Department at BCU Sports Info at Cookman.edu. That's BCU Sports Info at Cookman.edu. We are coming to you live from the Al Lawson Center on the campus of Florida A&M University in Tallahassee. as the Lady Wildcats with a 9-point lead, trying to punch their ticket to the SWAC tournament next week in Birmingham. They would do it with a win. A loss wouldn't eliminate them, but they would have to have Alcorn lose and get some other tiebreaker help. So you really just want to win and put that to bed tonight.
Yeah, there's no reason to literally there's no reason to not try to win this game. You know, you don't want to be in a, as the PA plays that sound again for no reason, no reason to make it harder than it has to be or have to wait for results elsewhere. Just win and you're in. You know, very simple.
And also, like, we haven't really touched on the fact that it's the Florida Classic on the hardwood, right? It's FAMU and Bethune-Cookman. Anytime these two teams get together, it's bound to be crazy.
Yeah, and we're not even in. We've already seen two big runs from both teams start this game out. And whoever gets this last run in this fourth quarter, I know it's only the third.
Oh, yeah.
Is going to be probably the one that wins this game.
Full court press for Florida A&M. They have given the Wildcats some issues once they've gone to it. The ball goes in. Kayla White catches it. She drives against Grizzle. Left and right, still in the backcourt. Got to get it across. She does to Clark. Clark, overhead pass underneath the basket. Thrown off the glass, no good. And a rebound to Grizzle. Grizzle looking to run. Gets to the top of the key. Spins underneath, good. 7-0 run for the Rattlers. 56-49. Into the front court again. Kayla White moving through traffic to the baseline. She's pushed to the corner by Bostic. Throws it back on top to Woods. Carriana Woods will slow it down with 2:10 to go in the quarter. Woods underneath. Clark going to work, throws it up, no good, gets her own rebound, put back, also no good. The Wildcats can't buy a bucket. This looks like the first 5 minutes of the opening quarter where the Rattlers went on a huge run. Grizzle pushes off, gets underneath, scoop and score.
And we've told you, Grizzle is very good at basketball. A hard push off there. Wildcats were looking for a foul on that.
8-0 run for the Rattlers, 56-51. This building is alive and a turnover. Subidots picks it off the full court press. Grizzle scores, 10-0 run for the Rattlers. Timeout Wildcats. Wow. Wow. The Rattlers go to the full court press and the Wildcats just collapse. They can't get anything going. They turn the ball over multiple times. Good looks by Kayla Clark under the basket. She can't finish, and it's a three-point game.
Yeah, I mean, we've had trouble against the full court press. The cheerleader did like 15 backflips in front of us. I got distracted, saw something flash by me, but had trouble against this full court press all season, and every time we play anybody, really, I'm always surprised when they go to it, they get success and then they go away from it. And you know, if you're a Wildcats fan, you want the Rattlers to go away from it because it is working. You know, the Wildcats are trying to play fast to beat the press, and when you play fast and everybody's on the same page, you make mistakes. When players start getting frustrated, you make mistakes. And that's exactly what a press will do.
The Rattlers in the full court press again. Here we go, 1:30 to go in the third. 3-point Bethune-Cookman lead, 56-53. They've led by as many as 13. A 10-0 run for the Rattlers. White floats it into the front court. Double team against Edwards. She works out of it. And they will reset. 15 on the shot clock. That 1:15 to go in the third. Edwards waits for the screen. Denies it, goes right. Into the lane around Grizzle. And Grizzle fouls her as she went up for the layup.
And on that drive, I mean, if Grizzle doesn't foul there, I don't even know if she's really getting a shot up. Edwards is.
Yeah, and of course Edwards on the line, the 59% free throw shooter. Wildcats have not scored in 3 minutes and 24 seconds to break a big drought and make it a two-possession game. It's 56-53 right now. First one up and too strong.
A tough break there for Deshante Edwards, who's been frustrated this whole third quarter with some of the non-calls that she has been arguing for. She makes the second, making it a two-possession game.
57-53, 105 in the third. Grizzle comes up court. A dominant third quarter by the Rattlers. Grizzle against Edwards in the paint. Tipped away, coming right at our broadcast position. Henson, protect that computer. Is out of bounds. The Rattlers will maintain it with 55 seconds left, 19 on the shot clock in the third quarter. And Nia Bostic was not looking at the referee, and the ball went behind her. Now she's got it. She looks to trigger. She does to Subidats. Subidats goes across, almost picked off, but Grizzle has it. Grizzle to the paint, puts it up and in. And all the Rattlers need to do is just give it to number 5 and let her go to work.
Yeah. 17 points already for her.
57, 55, 40 seconds to go in the third. The Wildcats led by as many as 13. It's now a 2-point game. Chanel Wilson to Edwards on the left wing. Clark up on top. Offensive foul, a hold, and that's the 4th foul on Chanel McDonald. Wow. As Omaria Tucker checks back in. Everything going the way of the home team right now. Again, the third quarter, Henson. We've talked about it all season. The Wildcats have a lead at the break or have played well in the first half and then just completely flat in the third. They still have a 2-point lead, 57-55. Ariana Grizzle trying to change that. She's battling against Deshante Edwards in front of her home bench on the right-hand wing. Backs all the way up to the scorer's table. 7 to play in the quarter. Drives past Edwards, gets to the paint. Floater is up. Too strong. 3 seconds left. Put back up is good by Sydney Hendricks. It's a tie game at the horn, and we go to the 4th. It's a dominant quarter for the Rattlers, 19-13, and we are tied at 57.
You just got to box out there. You can't, there's literally the second left. You know if someone gets a putback, they're putting it up immediately. So you just got to at least, even if you can't get the rebound, just get it out of there.
21-13 in the quarter. The Wildcats only hit 3 field goals in the third.
Went to the line for 11 shots in the third, though.
Yeah, and then again, but they've gone away from Chanel Wilson. She's got 15 points. I think they got to go back to her in the 4th. Yeah. It's got to be her day.
It's got to be Wilson's day. White was doing really well when we got that big lead, so maybe get back to them. Both of them only have 1 foul, so you don't have to worry about them getting in foul trouble. Hendricks has done a great job to play with 4 fouls as well. Grizzle has 3, Gilbert's 3. So if this becomes a free throw shooting contest, as it looks like it will be, this is going to be very interesting for the Rattlers, where most of your key players can't foul. So it's going to be very interesting to see what, if players that we haven't seen yet get put out there just to try to foul, or what they're going to do if that situation does occur. Because once again, 3 fouls for Gilbert, 3 fouls for Grizzle, 2 for Subarats, 4 for Hendricks, and those are your main players. All of them sharing about 20-ish, 25, 24-ish at minimum minutes. Grizzle has played has played every minute possible. 30 minutes, mind you, 10-minute quarters in the women's game. So she has played every minute of her senior night.
And I'm sure she'll play every minute of the 4th quarter as well. Rattlers start with the ball. Attacking the basket, the listeners left in the all-white strip. Subidats controls out high, guarded by Wilson. In a tie game, the Rattlers have not led since 13:23 to go in the first half, and it's turned over. Edwards all the way, missed the layup. Edwards offensive rebound, misses another layup into the corner, and the Rattlers take the ball. This is incredible. The lid on the basket for Bethune-Cookman. They're one of their last 10 from the floor.
Yeah, but you saw as Grizzle couldn't really defend Deshante Edwards' shot on those 3 fouls.
Grizzle kick out into the corner. Hendricks baseline. Back to the top. Bostic drives. Gets inside. Floater, no good at a travel anyway. So it'll be a turnover. The Rattlers now have turned the ball over 14 times, but the Wildcats only have 10 points off those turnovers, whereas FAMU has 16 points off of 11 Wildcat turnovers. The Rattlers go away from the full court press to start this 4th quarter, 9:15 to go in it. Wilson crosses the time stripe, guarded by Grizzle, goes to her left, gets the screen, Tucker out high, back to Wilson left wing. And then a foul, reach-in style, called against Grizzle as she barged over to Deshante Edwards. And now Ariana Grizzle has 4 fouls. So I'm sure the Wildcats know this. You've got to go after Grizzle and go after Hendricks. They've both got 4 fouls.
Yep.
Got to get them out of there.
Yep, and Gilbert has 3, as I said earlier. I mean, just, even if they're not going to play defense because you have 8 minutes left. They're going to try to stay in the game as long as they can, especially Grizzle.
Wilson all the way, too strong on the layup. 4 straight missed layups for Bethune-Cookman on that possession. Grizzle. She stops and goes to the free throw line. Guarded by Edwards. Moves to her left. Underneath. Up and under. Good. And the Rattlers have their first lead since the second quarter.
And Grizzle will be scared to just drive straight head on.
And a foul called in the open floor against Subirats as she barged over Kayla Clark. Subirats now has 3 fouls. So the entire starting 5 has either fouled out or has 3 fouls or more for the Rattlers. And I'm going to say it again. You've got to start going and driving to get them out of there.
Yeah.
Wildcats will inbound right in front of our broadcast position at center court here in the scorer's table. Deshante Edwards will be the gunner. Florida A&M will trap Wilson out high. They go into Wilson gets it back. Edwards gets it back, and now Wilson controls. Wildcats on a 2-minute-plus scoreless streak, and down by 2. Wilson goes to the lane. Tough layup, no good, but a foul on Hendricks, and she's gone. That's the 5th foul on Hendricks. And her 13 points, 5 of 6 from the field, and 3 of 4 from 3 will hit the bench. And now if you're FAMU, you're going to have to play some players that you've never played before in the game. We'll see who comes in.
Unless they're saying the foul's on.
No, it's 5. The referee in front of the Rattler bench is signaling to Coach Gordon. And again, how about the job that Coach Bridget Gordon has done with this Rattler team? Like last year, 6 wins. The year before that, 3 wins under their previous coach, Shalon Pillow. She turned it around. She came in after training camp as Pillow went to take another job, and she's made this team an 8-win team, which is more than their last 2 years. Wilson at the line, trying to tie this one up. First free throw, yes. And Jalea Sharp comes back in. Sharp's played 12 minutes, has 2 points and 2 rebounds. Wilson bends the knees, free throw up, free throw good, tie game at 59, 8:13 to go third quarter. Jalea Sharp is the tallest player on this Florida A&M team, listed at 6'3", so she will battle with Kayla Clark down low. As they are cleaning the floor under the basket, the Wildcats wait in their defensive shell underneath the basket that the Rattlers attack to listeners left. The all-white trimmed in orange and green attack. Here comes Ariana Grizzle playing with 21 points but 4 fouls on the day. She twirls a screen from Sharp, goes top of the key. Bostic, left wing, driving against Wilson, and it's a traveling violation against Bostic before she threw that ball into the post.
There have been multiple travels here in these Rattler possessions. Every time they get down to the post, it seems like they just want to give the ball back to the Wildcats.
Yeah, but the Rattlers have been in control. 17-4 run for the home team over the last 7:28. Wilson calls the play, crosses the time stripe, 7:53 to go in the third. She hands it to Edwards, top of the key. Back to Wilson, corner 3, no good, and no rebound. The ball is bounced and out of bounds. Clark will pick up her 3rd foul. No, correction, 2nd foul on Clark. But she didn't need to be that aggressive, battling for a rebound there. Tie game at 59.
She just missed the board, and then was just the rebounder for the Rattlers was bobbling with it, and she tries to punch it out, but
Grizzle up on top, gets the screen from Sharp, denies it, goes left to the wing, walks back between the circles, guarded by White. Here's Subirats on the right wing. Subirats thought about a 3 into the corner for Gilbert. Her 3-pointer, no good, and the rebound goes to Kayla White. White blitzing through the middle of the court. Stops at the top of the circle, keeps the dribble, goes all the way inside, floats it up, no good, and the rebound comes all the way out to the top. The Wildcats maintain possession.
Yep, and you could tell how fatigued Grizzle is. It bounced out past her, and she just didn't have the energy really to go chase it.
Off the horns play, pull-up jumper from 15 feet, missed it long, rebound to the Rattlers. Again lit on the basket from Bethune-Cookman, one of their last 13 from the floor. Bostic controls, hands back to Grizzle on a weave. Approaching the free throw line, Grizzle moves left, goes up and under, jump stop, got it. Rattlers take the lead, 61-59. Grizzle up to 23. Wildcats are one of their last 14 from the floor and still only trail by 2. 6:30 to go in the ball game. Spot in the playoffs on the line. Chanel Wilson sizing up Subirats, goes left, and then the ball goes into the paint to Clark. Clark bursting, turning, putting up a shot, won't go, and Bostic flashes through for the rebound. Rattlers a chance to make this a 2-possession game. It's all Grizzle behind the back, dribble, turned it over. Clark in transition, White all the way to the hoop. She puts it in. Tie game at 61, 6 minutes to go.
Climactic fourth quarter. I mean, this is what happens when you don't have a player.
Grizzle fakes the 3, and timeout, Florida A&M. 5:51 to go, 61-61 here at the All-Lawson Center. Whoo, boy, here we go. Come be a part of BCU Athletics and support the CatEye Network. If you or your business is interested in partnering with us here on the CatEye Network, you can reach out to the Wildcats Athletic Communications Department at bcusportsinfo@cookman.edu. That's bcusportsinfo@cookman.edu. We appreciate all of you spending your Saturday afternoon with us here on the CatEye Network on YouTube. Remember, the men's game is coming up shortly. After this one, you have to go back to the CatEye Network on YouTube homepage, click on the men's broadcast, and we will be up 30 minutes after this game ends as the men's team try and do the double over FAMU for the second straight season. So, if you are Coach Creighton right now, Henson, what are you telling your team to go get a win in these last 5 minutes?
You know, get back to what was working before. You know, we were getting those turnovers when we were driving well, making those layups. We got to make our layups, guys. We got to make those easy opportunities if we want to win here. You know, they want it as well. Grizzle's literally their entire offense, as we've seen. She's tired. Attack her. She's either not going to play defense on you or she's going to foul out. Those are her two options.
Wildcats have hit 10 layups and missed 20. They are 50% on layups in the game. Just did a quick mental calculation there. Rattlers will control. Tie game at 61. 5:50 to go. Here it goes. Grizzle back on top. It comes around to Subirats. Bounce pass to the post. Sharp. Kick to the corner. Ball deflected into the Rattler bench. It'll stay with the Rattlers. 15 on the shot clock, 5:42 to go in the game. Still the media timeout coming at the under 5 stoppage. The inbound goes to Grizzle in the right-hand corner, guarded by White. Grizzle gets a screen from Bostic to her left. Back out on top. Subirats open for 3. Nice closeout. She attacks it, goes baseline. Picks up her dribble, floats it all the way back. Grizzle with 3 to shoot, all the way outside. Hoist up a 3. It doesn't hit the rim. Shot clock violation. Great defense by the Wildcats.
Great defense by the Wildcats, and thank goodness she didn't hit the rim, or else that ball goes right to Subirats, who no one boxed out on the other side.
Wildcats in a tie game at 61. Wilson controls. She's played a lot of minutes tonight. Remember, still working her way back from injuries, played 29 minutes in the game. She goes to the free throw line, picks up her dribble, hands to Edwards. Back to the top of the key, guarded by her opposite number, Gilbert. Backdoor pass, White baseline. No shot attempt there, goes back underneath. Clark backing down Sharp, layup short, gets her own miss, puts it up, blocked by Sharp, out of bounds. It'll stay with the Wildcats with 18 to shoot and 5:02 on the clock. Kayla Clark cannot buy a bucket tonight. I feel bad for her.
Yeah, I mean, she's done a great job getting her own boards, but she has so many boards because she's missed so many of her first shot attempts. She gets the ball again.
In the rebound situation, she goes baseline, spins on Sharp, throws it up, no good again. 61 all, empty possessions on both sides out of the timeout. In the corner, Subidats drives baseline all the way through, kick out, corner three, back iron no good. Wilson with the board for the Wildcats, throws it all the way up. Tucker open underneath, her shot gets swatted away by Grizzle, who tracked back for the rebound, and then Tucker crashes to the floor. Odd man rush for the Rattlers if they hurry. Grizzle around the screen and horns. Another open three for Delancey. No good front iron, and it goes out of bounds. No, White saves it. Wildcats want to run the floor. Kayla White into the paint, backs up to the corner. Now drives baseline, goes up and under, no good. Another rebound fought for, and a foul called underneath. And it is on Florida A&M as Kayla Clark had position. I mean, I'll tell you what, Clark is battling down there, picks up her 9th rebound of the game.
And the important thing is Grizzle could have gotten called for a foul on that earlier layup attempt and doesn't, and gets lucky to not get that called against her.
And that's the Shawnee Gilbert's fourth foul, yeah.
So now Sharp's already in the game. The only other player that's played.
Oh, Grizzle steals her way out the inbounds pass. Bostic's alone underneath. She goes to the rim. She lays it in. Oh, she missed it. Offensive rebound and a foul. The Wildcats didn't get back on defense.
Yep, Kayla Clark did a good job of closing down. I mean, it was really just a blown layup, if we're going to be completely honest. But she does do a good job of getting back there to make that shot more rush. She misses, and then a Florida A&M rebound by Gilbert.
And she'll go to the line. And the Wildcats bring Wilson back in for Edwards after a quick trip to the bench. It is Gilbert at the line. She is 1 for 2 there on the night. 6 points for her, trying to give the Rattlers the lead with 4:30 to go. First one good. If you've just joined us, the winner of this game goes to the playoffs. The loser of this game is likely out, if not for crazy tiebreaker scenarios. Second one good. 2-point lead for the Rattlers, 63-61. 4:30 to go. They bring back the full court press. This is where the Wildcats have had problems. White with 5 seconds to get it across against Grizzle. She does into the front court. Kayla White at the free throw line stops and drives and gets fouled. It's a hip check, and that might be the end for Grizzle. It is. Grizzle is gone. 23 points, 35 minutes, and she takes the long walk back to the bench on senior night. And this could be the turning point, Henson.
Yep, and Coach Gordon is immediately in her ear telling her, hey, you had 4 fouls. You can't be doing that. And now all of a sudden, and just in case you wanted to know, Prairie View is up in their game with 1:50 left, up 4 against Pine Bluff. So the loser will be out if that result holds.
You mean Alcorn is up?
Yeah, Alcorn. So yep, always Alcorn.
That puts more pressure now on Bethune-Cookman. If they lose, they're gone.
Yep. But now the Rattlers without their talisman and now playing.
First free throw good, 1-point game. Kayla White at the line. The senior Annabelle Latorre has checked in. The senior from Zaragoza in Spain, a transfer from Middle Tennessee State. Second free throw good. We're tied at 63. 4:19 to go. Where does Florida A&M look offensively? Probably to Subidats, who has the ball across the time stripe.
And Lloyd is in the game, number 4.
Almost a travel up top by Gilbert. She's guarded by White. Gilbert gets a screen, goes left. Subidats open for 3 left wing. Too strong, and the ball goes into the corner and out of bounds. It was last touched by Chanel Wilson, who tried to save it. She didn't need to save it.
No. It was Wildcat possession. As I said earlier, Lloyd is number 4. She came in to help replace the departing Grizzle.
That is
Amaya Lloyd,
the
freshman.
Yep.
Playing
Here we go.
Extremely clutch minutes.
Up on top to Subidats. She's at the left wing in front of her own bench. Hands to Gilbert. Into the post, Sharp. Back to Subidats. Ball poked away. It's loose on the out-of-bounds line. The Wildcats have the ball. Woods in transition. Extra pass. Wilson underneath, double team. Got to get the ball away, and she throws the ball out of bounds. Last touch by the Rattlers. Bostic tried to save that one as it was rolling towards the Wildcat bench, and BCU has a second chance at this one. 63 all, 3:38 to go. 3 players for the Rattlers have fouled out. Delancey, Grizzle, and Hendricks, their top 3 scorers.
Every one of their top scorers is either fouled out or in foul trouble. Gilbert
has
fouls.
4. And Subidats has 3, and if she's the lone man left, McDonald misses everything on a jump shot. Not been Chanel McDonald's night. Rattlers a chance to take the lead. Subidats on the wing, gets a screen, floats it across. Gilbert open for 3. It is no good. Rebound to Sharp. She is fouled and will go to the line. And that might be the end for Chanel McDonald if the foul is on her. No, it's on Wilson. That's her second. Clark checks back in.
And one thing I do not understand that the Rattlers have done for almost every possession in this, towards this tail end of this fourth quarter, why do they keep shooting these threes? They're currently 0 for 5 from 3.
I mean, that's Gilbert's best shot.
Yep. And
it's Subidats' best shot.
Yep.
But Sharp and they're good on the offensive glass. First free throw, no good from Sharp. It's still tied at 63. But the Wildcats have not been able to counter on the other end. They are one of their last 21 from the field are the Wildcats, and yet it's still a tie game. Not anymore, as the second free throw is good from Sharp. Full court press. Woods dribbles against the freshman Lloyd. Gets it into the front court, 3:15 to go. Woods to White. Kayla White out up top, hands to Tucker. It's Woods, now Clark, rips through, goes to the basket, she's fouled.
And I think that's Gilbert gone.
Oh. No, it's an offensive foul.
Charge?
It's a charge. And the Rattlers have a chance to increase their 1-point lead with 2:59. And we will look back on this game and ask what went wrong offensively for Bethune-Cookman.
Yep. I mean, if we're going to be honest, this game should not be close right now. With how many opportunities the Wildcats have had to really put it beyond
look
doubt.
Out. Subidats goes to the baseline, floats it up, no good. Offensive board. Sharp in traffic. Back to Subidats. Out on top, Gilbert. Another offensive rebound for Florida A&M. They've got 8 in the game. Subidats blitzed. Almost turned it over. Sharp underneath the basket. Bostic a floater, good. 3-point game, 63-66, 2:26 to go. You don't need a 3 here, but you do need points. White, looking, driving, stopped. Woods, drives, spins, throws it back to Tucker. 10 on the shot clock. White drives into the paint, floats it up. Oh, it's no good. Clark is grabbed before she put the shot up. She did get the offensive rebound.
Gets the foul on the floor.
And that's the first foul on Amaya Lloyd.
Yep.
As she will check out of the game. No, she'll just go back to talk to her coach. And that's the bonus
for the Wildcats.
So Clark is on the line with the Wildcats down by 3, 2 minutes left. The winner of this game goes to the SWAC tournament. The loser goes home because Alcorn State looks like it's going to hang on to beat Pine Bluff.
Yep.
First one is good from Clark.
Score from that game right now, 55-50 according to the Google search. 44 seconds left. I'm going to get the live stats for you in a second. I'll tell you that about that game in the next break and play.
Clark puts it up. No good. Subidats, the board out of bounds. Rattlers ball. 2 points. 2-point game, 66-64. Rattlers without their top 3 scorers, but still hanging on. Here is Gilbert, top of the key, gets it back from Subidats. Gilbert drives into a double team. Sharp underneath. Subidats scores. She got the mismatch against Edwards and put it up and in. 4-point game, 1:34 to go. Wildcats need offense, and they need it now. They're 1 for their last 22 from the floor. Timeout. Coach Creighton.
Coach Creighton was begging for that timeout, pleading with the referee to get it. And at this moment in time, just 56-50 was the score I had from the Alcorn State game.
There is no BC without you. Show your support for Bethune-Cookman Athletics by joining the Wildcat Champions Club today. Help us build a championship culture at Bethune-Cookman. You can donate and join at cookman.scalefunder.com. That's cookman.scalefunder.com. Well, Henson, I know it's good not to be too negative on air. We're only down 4. There's a minute 47 left, but this may be one of the largest collapses offensively I've seen by a basketball team in a fourth quarter. 1 for 22 from the field.
We went from shooting 60% in the first half, 35 to 23-6 in this fourth quarter. Mind you, this is a Florida A&M team with all three of their leading scorers have been fouled out for at minimum, Grizzle, at least 3 minutes. And has been missing, mind you, they're not shooting well either, 33% and 0 for 6 from beyond the arc, and that's been a majority of their shots here late. That just offense has not been there for the Wildcats. And if the Rattlers get a stop here.
Yeah, that might be it. There are no timeouts left for Bethune-Cookman. That was the last one called by Coach Creighton.
You're looking for a foul-a-lot game and hoping that these Rattlers aren't clutch. I mean, Grizzle isn't in the game, but minute 27, Woods with the ball at the top of the key.
Here we go. Hands to Wilson. Still top of the key, looking for the screen. Wilson stops and goes, is fouled. Will go to the line. Reach in from Bostic. That's her first foul.
And she has to, there is no try. She has to make both of these. You know, you're not a good three-point shooting team, so you're not going to want the 3. You want to be down only 2. And you know
and again,
that
if you get defensive stops, they can still get 2 or 3 good looks at this with 1:18 to go.
Yep, and you know that this Florida A&M team likes to shoot 3s, so if you're down, you know.
First one is good from Wilson. Can't say she hasn't played well tonight. 18 points. Kayla White with 18 points. But, man, Kayla Clark, 2 of 10 from the field. It's been the biggest miss of the game for the Wildcats. Second free throw is no good. 3-point game. 68-65, 1:15 to go. Wildcats try and trap in the backcourt. Subidots with it. Crosses the time stripe, 1:10 to go. And she will let the sand drain through the hourglass. Gets the screen from Sharp, goes right, still beyond the 3-point line. Hands to Nishani Gilbert. A 3 here might as well ice it for the Rattlers. Subidots blitzed off a screen. Back to Sharp, all the way across the court. Attacking the closeout on the baseline, and a shot clock violation. The Wildcats got to stop.
Coach Gordon immediately telling the freshman, look at the clock. You didn't have time for all those moves. Now you give them a free pass, basically, but with only 45 seconds left.
Kayla White or Chanel Wilson. It's got to be one of those two. They've been the hot hand. It's White to control. 36 seconds to go. Wildcats down by 3. White goes left, pulls up, long 2, no good. Clark with the board. Clark battling underneath, tries to shovel it out. She does. 24 seconds to go. Edwards drives, puts it up, no good again. Rebound by Sharp. Wildcats have to foul, and they do. That might be it. Unbelievable.
We went from thinking, man, this might be an ugly game in the first quarter to thinking
the Wildcats were going to blow them away in the second quarter.
And then a close third quarter where the Rattlers allowed them to kind of the Wildcats allowed the Rattlers to take that lead 21-13 in that quarter alone. And now
Gilbert first free throw, no. 16 seconds left. If she misses the second one, it's still a 3-point game. Who are you choosing to take a 3? I say it's Chanel Wilson.
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody else on this team that you want to take a 3 other than Chanel Wilson for this Wildcats team.
Now, you don't have a timeout. Bostic makes the second one. 4-point game. You've got to go fast.
Yep.
Got to get a shot up as quickly as possible. Clark to inbound. She gets it to White. White to time stripe with 13. White all the way to the hole. She puts it up. It's short. Rebound to Florida A&M, and that will do it. The Wildcats collapse in the second half. They only scored 20 points in half number 2.
And
they shoot 1 of 26 from the floor in the fourth quarter.
And just to reaffirm, Alcorn, always Alcorn, won their game 59-52 against Pine Bluff. And unless something miraculous happens with this last 9.3 seconds, these Wildcats are going home.
Sharp missed both. Still a 3-point game. Oh, no, 4-point game. 5 seconds left. Got to have a big one. Wilson, long 3. Nope, that's it. The Florida A&M Rattlers have sent the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats home. The final score, 69-65. That is unbelievable. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. The Wildcats shoot 1 of 26, 5% in the fourth quarter, and they only lose by 4. They were up by 13 in the middle of the third, and they just collapse.
Might be the most frustrating half of basketball I've seen with my own 2 eyes. And the thing is, the craziest aspect about all of this is that the Rattlers were getting amazing looks for that whole entire fourth quarter. If Gilbert hits 3s late, if Grizzle hit any of her 3s, is an extended lead that these Rattlers would have had. I mean, I don't know how you lose a game where your the opposing team's top 3 scorers
all foul out,
fouled out with more than 5 minutes to go.
And they didn't score a point. After Grizzle fouled out, they didn't score a point.
Delancey had been fouled out from the first half. Hendricks had 4 fouled out, I think, in the third quarter, if I'm not mistaken. Grizzle was playing on 4 fouls for
most of the game,
20-ish minutes. And, you know, it would be one thing if our defense hadn't been good. If something happened and they were just getting really good looks and they were hitting 3s, but it's something so disappointing. I'm not mad. It's just a disappointment. 70 total shots. I just looked at that. 20.
Yeah. 70 to 55, mind you, in total shots.
70 shots. 29 total free throws. They made 23 of them. If they were not going to the line, mind you, 70 total shots plus touch. And it just not the performance that you wanted. That's if you could have just played not even the second quarter of the entire game, but even if you just stretch out that scoring stretch or even just the percentages, Kayla Clark got 12 rebounds, but I'd say probably about 5 of those. She has not a double-double, actually. She only had 9 points. About 5 or 4 of those were misses of her own shots that she then would miss.
Yeah. Let's not drag this on too long. The senior day ceremony for FAMU is going on in front of us. We got to clear out and get ready for the men's game. Here are your final scoring totals. Kayla White for Bethune-Cookman. Kayla White, 18 points, 5 boards. She balled out. Chanel Wilson in her final collegiate game, 18 points, 4 boards, 7 of 8 from the free throw line, 2 steals. She balled out, but it just wasn't there at the end. Kayla Clark, almost a double, 9 points, 12 boards. Edwards, 7 points. McDonald, 4. She was off tonight. Tucker, 4. Dorsey, 3. Woods, 2. 4. Florida A&M. Grizzle, 23 points and fouled out. Delancey, 14 points, fouled out. Hendricks, 13 points, fouled out. Gilbert, 9. Subidots, 5. Sharp, 3. Bostic, 2. Lloyd played and did not score. FAMU out-rebounded the Wildcats 42-20. The Wildcats out-offensive rebound the Rattlers 20-9 and only had 10 second chance points off of 20 offensive rebounds.
Yep, I mean, overall, if we're looking at this Wildcat season, they did a good job. A lot of injuries plagued the team. Players were away. Stuff happened that was outside of the control of the players and the coaches. And, you know, that just makes – there's a ton of close games. When you look back at this schedule that they played in all this, especially in SWAC play, you look at some of these losses. A Grambling State game you lost by 1. Southern you lost by 4. Overtime games that you lost late. Another Southern overtime game. Alabama A&M was a close game as well. You know, Texas Southern, another close game. Tons and tons of close games. And, you know, that Grambling State team and that Southern team are two of the best teams in the conference, you know.
Yeah.
So it isn't as if they just, you know, didn't have it or anything. It's just, I don't want to say lack of clutch necessarily, but just something was missing in a lot of those games.
Well,
offensive consistency,
You've got to remember, right, this was a team that was down to a 6-7 woman rotation for a long time due to injuries and players leaving the team. They were without a bunch of players for a while. Even Chanel Wilson missed a ton of time. The Wildcats end their season at 15-16, 6-12 in the SWAC. And we await the arrival of the Bethune-Cookman men's team. They are just now taking the court for warm-up. So once again, your final score here in the women's game, the Florida A&M Rattlers 69, the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats 65. The Rattlers win this playoff game, quote-unquote, advance to the SWAC tournament. BCU will end their season tonight. For our producer, Gino, director, Eli, and Sabrina here, our CatEye Network staff, Henson with me at the table. My name is Michael Torillo. We'll get out of there your way. Remember to go back to the CatEye Network homepage on YouTube. Click on the men's team link. We'll be back in half an hour for the men's game from right here at Bethune-Cookman. This is Bethune-Cookman University basketball on the CatEye Network.